Hi folks, Dr. Bob here, taking the second step on the Thyreophorean Trail today in Barrett Paleopark. Going to start out looking at the basic layout of the next two portions of the trail. They're kind of interconnected, so it was important to lay the parts out. And the first step after putting in the rough fencing is to put in the basic paths through the trail, coming off the bridge, moving around to each of the viewpoints for the habitats, and then connecting the space between them in a little bit of a wandering maze, if you will, for the guests, rather than having direct connections in any one straight line, and then out the other side to where it will join some of the regular pathing for the park. You'll notice I've done a couple of roundabouts there in order to have plantings in the space where the guests will be moving through the trail. Just trying to get it be a little bit dynamic, occasionally screwing up like that. And all that will have to be planted and giving so the trails will break up the sight lines and give the guests options for walking and yeah, just in general make it more interesting. We're going to be working on this side today. This will be the next animal in. I want to block sight lines for the park in general and to keep the trail more of a special experience for the guests, that they have to come and be a part of the trail in order to see the animals that are on it. So a lot of stone on this side. The original animal on the trail, Stegosaurus, that we did last time. You can not see the other animals from there. That's deliberate. It's a basal Thyreophorean, and the other ones are advanced ones. So I want both a visual break and well, yeah, that's pretty much it, a visual break for the guests. And these rocks going in will mark a lowered portion of the habitat. The animals aren't good climbers, so dropping the terrain will let me keep them inside there pretty safely and keep the guests safe from them as well. So using the weathered sandstone rocks for this habitat. Not sure if I'm going to keep that color or not. And yeah, that's starting to work on lowering the terrain there. It's a little tricky because the fence is keeping the terrain tool from getting it smooth there. So I have to play with the rocks to make that more aesthetic. And I don't want the rocks too high on the guest side because I want them to be able to see in the habitat. And then get the terrain inside the habitat smoothed down better so the animals can navigate that and then get down to that rock wall if they want to. So it took a little work to get it smooth and working the way I wanted it to. And that's what you're watching now. The next step from there will be putting in the terrain paints and the water. I decided I wanted this particular water pond to have an island, and I wanted to raise the terrain in the back half of the habitat and blend that down in to what we just did, so that the animals can go right up to the rocks around the viewing area, but also leave higher areas in the back so they will be more visible to the guests. Marking that there with that particular stone color, which is the wrong one, to blend with the rocks that are there. So that had to be fixed, but that was to make it easier for me to see where the abrupt portions of the habitat terrain topography were, so I could work with that. I want to have two gates into the habitat, one on those distant rocks you're looking at now, and one on the other side of the habitat, so that our keepers can get in from both sides. These rocks are taking advantage of that established elevated area and making it so the animals won't try to walk down it. It'll be too steep for them, so they have to walk around it. And it just makes for a better presentation of the habitat, I think. I'm not sure if that's the final water either. The new water options give more choices to be made than we had before. And they, since we can see through them, they're more affected by the terrain paints on the bottom. I was working this part while I was contemplating having a waterfall there, and thinking that that might be a neat thing to add to this habitat. So I was working to have a place where the water could fall and then get into the pool, as well as working the general slopes of the habitat to bring the rocks more into shape for interesting terrain. A lot of the terrain paint, of course, eventually disappears under the vegetation. And this is another one of those videos where I didn't record a lot of the work that was done. So we're about to have a jump and take a walkthrough off the initial bridge on the Thyreophorean Trail. You can see there's a lot more vegetation now. Those islands of vegetation in the pathways are in place, and more rocks there as well. And the viewing platform has its binoculars, its information screen. The habitat is textured, it's got its animal ready, and it has vegetation. And we're looking here at Stegosaurus ungulates. I had originally put stenops in here because that was the first stegosaur I got the genome for. But in contemplation of what I wanted to do beyond this trail for the park, I decided to change it to ungulates instead of stenops. They want to have more or less the same requirements for the habitat. But I think it's going to play out better for the park as a whole. I have a male and female in here. No harem for the lad, but they feel comfortable in there, and that's pretty cool. You can also see some other rock work in the background in this overview of the habitat, and some rocks to the right there for the next habitat, which we'll get to next week. And then we'll see where we go from there. So here are our animals doing their animally stuff as they are wont to do, and we'll be getting near the end of the video now, I think, with the animals. Yes, they do. They do occasionally make commentaries on my commentary. But if you like this video, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, the usual 9 yards. I hope to be finishing up the Thyreophorean Trail in the next video. with another Thyreophorean, and if you've been paying attention to the roster, there's only one choice. It could be if I want to change genuses, and I do. So this trail will end up with a basal one at the beginning, or at least the entrance closest to the front of the park, and then end with highly derived versions of the two main branches of Thyreophoria. That's pretty much it. You all be kind to each other. Take care out there. And I hope you'll be stopping by for another video next week and in the weeks to come. Bye now.